Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Tom's Hardware Podcast for today, November 29th, 2022. Oh, it's been a long week for those of us here in the US anyway, because we had Thanksgiving and we had to take care of, Ash and I anyway, had to take care of some helping our Tom's Hardware audience find some really great deals on lots of products that they could get, which included 3D printers and Raspberry Pi products. Uh, so uh, if we pass out in the middle of this, don't take it personally. Um, we're so excited today to have our special guest, Ricardo Simoy, who's joining us from Portugal, and is going to talk about this amazing synthesizer project that he made. And so so let's get started with that. Ricardo, first of all, what can you tell the audience about yourself? Is this your first Pi project, or what's your history with doing that?
Well, it's definitely my first project. I didn't know anything about. I didn't know anything about the Raspberry Pi before. Sorry, I just stopped seeing you guys. So,
We made you big on purpose.
okay, sorry. So I was just scared because Chrome crashed a couple of times before, so I was concerned. Anyway, I was saying that I don't have any experience. I didn't have any experience with Raspberry Pi before, so this was my first project. I was, I guess, trying to start a project, but I just couldn't find anything interesting or easy enough to start with. So then I was looking for something to pair with my Roland MC 101. It's just a tiny groove box because it doesn't have any audio input, so you can only input through USB. It doesn't have any actual analog inputs. So I was looking for something to connect it with USB and could sample directly to it. So I don't know, it just randomly appeared on YouTube or something. You know, the algorithms just
Yeah.
showed someone using not the actual M8, the actual Dirtywave M8, but someone using Raspberry Pi. Now I think the connection
We can hear
dropped.
you. We've lost you
Ah, well,
visually.
yeah. Just seeing something on my side, but I can't understand what's going on. Let me hang on. I think I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. So where was I? I was saying I saw someone using a headless M8 on a Raspberry Pi. It was a much more complex setup. So the guy he created a PCB with all the keys and everything. And then I reached out to him. He was in Japan, or he probably is in Japan still, I think, no. And asked him for more details about the project, if he could help me. And then he sent me some information, but I think he was kind of reluctant on sending anything because maybe because he didn't want to promote like a M8 ripoff or something like that. So she was kind of concerned about sending me the information. But then I don't know, it was just too complex for me. I didn't really want to get into the PCB, getting a PCB and soldering stuff, and I was wondering if I could do something simpler. So I decided to visit the M8 Discord and see what was going on in there. And eventually, I found a bunch of guys tinkering with the Raspberry Pi and M8, the headless version of the M8, which is just like a Teensy 4.1, and then you just upload the firmware and off you go. And that was it. I didn't have any experience, so I started reading about Raspberry Pi, trying to understand how to program things and how to put everything together, and that was it.
So for those of us who aren't really familiar with synthesizers, can you tell everyone what a Dirtywave M8 does?
Sure, it's a tracker. It's called a tracker. Look, I think the first time I saw a tracker, I probably had like 5 or 6 years old. I remember my parents bought Amiga 500 or something, and there was a tracker. Like you had all those floppy disks with games, and then one of the floppy disks had a tracker, but like being like, I don't know, maybe I was older than 5, maybe 6 or 7, somewhere around there. And I remember trying to play the tracker, but it was not as I think inviting as playing a video game. So I never looked at trackers until I saw the M8. It just basically you just create music with columns. I can show you actually better than
Yeah.
I will just.
Yeah, that's great.
So by the way, obviously I didn't want to create any M8 ripoff. I think as you probably now I'm gone. You guys are probably hearing me.
Yes, we've got you on audio.
Yeah,
Yep.
but what happened was OBS crashed.
Oh, great. Curse of the
Yeah.
live demo.
Yeah, let me see if I can fix it quickly. So now OBS is up and running, but you can still get image. Let me see if I can fix it. Ah, I know why. Virtual camera is off. Okay. You can see me again. You just need to see the Nikon. It's back up, right?
Good deal. Yep.
Yeah. So I think now you can see. I'll just probably zoom it a little bit. There you go. Can you see
Hopefully.
those tiny columns over there?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go. Just let me load a song or something. I think something is loaded. So let's see what happens.
I love the eyes.
Yeah.
Thanks. Again, the image was gone. I don't know what's going on with I don't know what's going on with OBS. It keeps on crashing every time I play the audio. Maybe it's too much for it. So sorry for that. I think you're probably used to this sort of technical things. No, start the virtual camera again. Off we go. And another try. Just see if this starts up. Yeah, back up again. So there you go. So maybe just turn the audio a little bit down. Is it okay like this?
Yeah.
Okay. So as I was saying, a tracker has a bunch of columns, as you can see over there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in each of those columns, you get, hang on. You get, can see it properly, but you can see phrases. Okay, so if you create a phrase, then this is not a good idea. Maybe this one. You have a bunch of phrases. You see their phrases?
Uh-huh.
It's probably better focus. And then in each phrase, you have notes. Okay, so you can see the notes over there. Each row with information is a note. Okay, that can be allocated to a different instrument, which then if you move left or right, you'll see the instrument. Okay, so basically a tracker is this. It's just an instrument with, it's not an instrument, it's kind of a, I'll call it almost a DAW, but it's a DAW where you build your songs in those columns, where each column is a track, and then you have the rows, and each row you have a phrase, and within a phrase you have the notes, and you can allocate different instruments for each note or for each step, if you rather call it.
And it works like one beat per row, right? So it'll go down each and play it in a sequence.
Well, yes, in easy, I think, yeah, yeah. It can get more complex than that, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, thanks for putting it in a simpler way.
I used to play around with a similar tool. I do Game Boy mods, and there's a popular application that people will use called LSDJ, and they'll load it up on little carts, and people use it to make chip tunes, and it reminds me of that.
That's awesome. I think I made is, well, I don't think I've read it, and I've written it on my GitHub. It's inspired no less DJ, but I've never used it. Never had the chance.
It's fun stuff. It's a whole world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So
I didn't.
You've
I've
got
never
these buttons
used
on the front. Are those also Legos?
Yeah.
Sorry if I
there.
cut you off. There's a little delay.
No, it's fine. It's there is a lag. I can hang on because I cannot see it. My name is covering the little square with the overhead camera. So I will just pull one off. There you go. It's Lego. It's better to show here. It's just a piece of Lego.
Aha.
Okay. So everything is Lego. I think I can show some pictures just instead of
Yeah,
taking
that would be awesome. I mean, we love Legos here. Anything Lego, I should say Lego blocks. Not right to say Legos.
Yeah, look, what happened was, as I said, the other guy had a very complex setup. He built the whole thing. I think the structure itself was made of the PCBs, so it had different layers of PCB, and it was holding everything together with some bolts and nuts. I don't know exactly what it was using. So I was wondering maybe I could 3D print something, but then I thought, hang on, I have a bunch of Legos from when I was a kid, and it's probably the only toy that I kept for my kids. So I thought, might as well just build a thing made out of Legos. And then initially it was like this without the eyes. And then my daughter thought it was too serious. And hang on, let me show you.
She's right. The eyes add a lot.
Yeah. So initially it was like this, didn't have the eyes. And my daughter looked at this and like, oh, what's that? It's an instrument, blah blah blah. And she thought, that's too serious. You need to add some parts in there, maybe some eyes. It looks like a Tamagotchi or something like that. So that was it about the eyes. My daughter actually got the eyes. So I was about to show some pictures of the insides. Hang on. So actually the video, because I had a bunch of after you published that article about this project, I had a bunch of questions about how to build this and how the keys were made and so forth. So I wanted to help people, and I made another video showing, and I took some pictures on the process. So basically this is the inside, taking the parts up. Hang on, I think this is a good one. Here you can see the kind of there's I don't know, a rubber pad on top of the PCB here. Right. So basically this is a NAS controller. I think I have a picture here somewhere around here. Hang on. Let's go. There you go. This was the first attempt to create the buttons, but then I decided to go to something much simpler than this, and eventually, so this is sort of the parts for the button. And I'm not sure if I have anything here showing in more detail how the buttons work, but it's everything. It's Lego, just touching this rubber pad. Sorry guys. So the Lego parts are just touching on top of the rubber band, and the rubber band kind of acts like a spring, so it pushes the Lego up. So when you press it down, it just works like a button. It's pretty simple.
That's very slick.
Yeah, thanks.
What kind of screen is that?
I don't know. It's kind of what's called a wave share. It's not really a wave share. I think it's a wave share ripoff, something like that. It's just a small HDMI screen. I think I was trying to get a wave share, but I couldn't find anything at the time. So this was the best I could find. And initially, I thought, hang on. I think So initially, I thought that the wave share would be a good idea, especially because of the touchscreen. I thought I would be able to use the touchscreen in this project, but I can't. Touchscreen only works in the actual M8 unit, not in the Atlas version.
I love the yellow color. How come you decide to go with yellow and black as your theme?
Well, it's just a bunch of Lego techniques, and this I think I had more yellow than anything else. So I started putting all the parts together, and I had a huge airplane made out of like techniques, and these parts are from the wings. Like these parts here are wings, and I just had more yellow than red or black or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was it. My OBS keeps on crashing. which is rather annoying. But anyway, fire up some questions while I'm trying to solve the issues with my OBS again. I think it's working again.
So, are you a musician? Is that why you decided to make this?
No, I'm not a musician. I'm actually I'm a manager. I would call it that way. I work in an agency, so in a marketing agency, and I manage the agency. This is just a hobby, but it's a hobby since my teenage years, and I really like music and love composing and creating some songs. So it just, as I said, I was playing with the Groovebox, and I thought, this is a really cool Groovebox because it almost fits in your pocket. It doesn't. It's just sitting here. Sorry, hang on. I need to cough. I was playing with the Groovebox, and I was lacking as I mentioned before, audio inputs and the ability to do some sound design. It was just it's after I got this project going, it got a firmware update that allowed to do more sound design. They added some more options they didn't have before, but there's still no way to sample things aside from the USB input. So I thought maybe if I could get a Raspberry Pi and the audio input, I could connect everything and maybe route the audio, the analog through the Raspberry Pi and then onto the Roland MC101. And actually that happened. So I just connected both of them all the time, which was probably the harder part to make work, because initially I was trying to make this work with just the plain Raspberry Pi OS, but I had a lot of issues with latency, and in Discord, no one could get rid of the latency. So I was having, I don't know, like 50 milliseconds or 20 milliseconds of delay, which is unacceptable if you want to compose anything. So so I decided to try can't remember his name. I think Richard Rasparg, I think something like that. Had a really good repo on GitHub on how to make the headless mate work on a Piboy, and off my OBS goes. Can you still hear me? Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
So he had a really good project on how to make this work on the Piboy, and he was using, what is it called? What's the OS for the Piboy? I just keep on forgetting. It's RetroPie.
Oh yeah.
RetroPie.
If it runs RetroPie, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So he had it running on RetroPie. So I tested the RetroPie as well, and it wasn't working because same issue. Latency was the biggest issue. It was better on actually routing the audio, because he created some scripts to be able to route the audio, but the latency was really annoying still, and it was really noisy. So last resort, I found, again accidentally, I found Patchbox OS. It's from some guys called Blockers, I think. And this Patchbox OS actually, it's based on a real-time kernel, so it's for audio, so it reduced the latency to almost like 5 or 6 milliseconds, which is very acceptable, I think. And it has basically all the tools you need. But then I had to start learning how to manage audio routing with ALSA and Jack.
Fun.
Yeah, it was not fun. It wasn't fun. I think it's fun. It could be fun, but it's really poorly documented. So when you try to do something that is outside what people normally do, then you run into all sorts of problems, and you have to go to obscure forums to to find information. And maybe the last time you got an answer to a similar question was like 5 or 6 months ago. And then
And there will
chances
be updates that'll change it, and yeah.
probably. But even if you want to like ask the same person, as you found someone seems like he or she has the knowledge to help you. But then the last answer is like 5 or 6 months ago. So odds are you won't be able to reach out to that person, and so you have to learn how to deal with also and check. And as you said, fun thing. But yeah, eventually I found out a way to route the audio. So right now, if you plug in something to the audio in, so here,
Yeah,
so
what kind of ports do you have? Is that just the regular Raspberry Pi ports on the side?
yeah, it is. It's just USB. I was trying to get like I don't know the guys, the Blockers guys who made the patch box OS. They have sort of a hat they do put on. I can't remember the name. Audio something Pi, can't remember the name. But then I couldn't put the screen on top of it because it's supposed to work without the screen. So it improves the latency, has really good inputs and outputs. But for this project, the only thing I could make work was like one of those cheap USB audio cards. And I think was part of the problem to actually make everything work, because probably part of the latency issue was due to this card. But well, maybe not, because I end up with 5 milliseconds or 6 milliseconds, which is amazing, and it makes it work quite well. So yeah, so that was the biggest issue. I can just connect everything if you want. If you have any more questions, I could put everything together.
Yeah, I do have another question. And in fact, if you answered this earlier, I might have missed it. But what model of Raspberry Pi did you end up going with?
It's a 4.1. No, 4.1. No, nothing. Sorry.
The
It's a four.
4B?
It's a four. No, yeah, it's a 4B, but it's 1 gigabyte. I think has
Oh,
been discontinued. But
oh,
again,
cool.
that was part of the challenge, because as you know much better than I do, it's almost impossible to get a Raspberry Pi these
Yeah,
days.
Yes.
it's very difficult. I mean, we're all hoping for a better 2023 when it comes to obtaining Raspberry Pis.
Yeah, I hope so.
I
I
take my
remember
broken. Mm.
I remember refreshing Pi Locator continuously until I found something in Europe, and the only model I found was like the Raspberry Pi 4 with 1 gigabyte of RAM, and as soon as I found it, I bought it. It's probably not the best option for this. Maybe I could get better with like at least 2 gigabytes of RAM or even 4, but it's impossible to get anything nowadays. So I'm happy with this as it is.
Yeah.
So I was trying to put everything together just to show you that you can actually route. Hang on, let me just zoom out this. So
Neat.
the way I generally use this setup, it's like this. I just need to shut down. Oh, so there's a combination of keys, just shuts the system down. Should be that shut down now. If you go, I need to shut down before connecting the other stuff. So as I was saying, generally I just use it like this. So hang on. Spaghetti here.
You got a lot of fun toys to play with, that's for sure.
Well, some. I have a few more, but these ones are those I use the most, mostly because, well, with kids, I don't have much time to play with the bigger toys. Just
Mm-hmm.
time to play with something that is easy to set up and to play. And besides, you probably weren't probably hear me well. Just plug everything on. So this was the Roland I was talking about. This is a tiny groove box, and as you can see, it has. I think you can see here. It has audio outputs, but it doesn't have any audio input, which is a shame for some, because it's really capable. It's a really capable instrument, but it lacks on that front. So now if I turn this on, it will automatically connect everything through MIDI, and will connect both of them, both the audio input and outputs, and also does all the hard work of synchronizing everything, so the audio actually in sync if you play both of them together, which is really nice. I thought that would be really hard to make work, but it was, after understanding how also works, it was pretty easy.
Nice.
So I think everything is working. Nope, still loading, but it should be right now. Okay, I'll just load a project where you can hear both of them. I have no idea what. Yeah, I'll just use this one. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen here.
That's half the fun.
And here I'll load one as well. Gone. It's basically so you can hear both of them playing together, because this was really the most complex part of the project, was making the MIDI talk between the three devices, and routing the audio was hell, really. So hopefully, yeah, it shouldn't be like this, but I don't think this is a good example. Hang on, let me just load this one. I should have tested this before.
Peabody asks, "Is there a link to more details to build one? What's the best place to go?" Would that be GitHub?
Yeah, that would be GitHub. You'll have all the, I guess, possible information now in there. I think I documented everything pretty well. even up to, well, you don't have the detailed plans for the Lego part, just because I really don't want to take everything apart again. So I took some pictures and I created that video I mentioned earlier with how to make the Lego, the buttons, and how everything works. But it's Lego, so it's up to each one's imagination to make their, I guess, box for this project. But yeah, otherwise it's really well documented. I think if you get the same parts or similar parts, you'll be able to do this with not much effort, I would say. So yeah, GitHub, it's the best place to find your instructions. By the way, do you guys have more questions?
No, I think we've got a little on questions, but we wanted to talk for a second. Ash, this is still holiday season, and people and all of us, including Ricardo, you, and me, can save some money on, if not Raspberry Pis themselves, which are difficult to come by, various Raspberry Pi accessories and kits. So where can you still save money?
Well, if your check didn't come until after Cyber Monday, you're still in luck. There are a few Raspberry Pi goodies on the internet, and I'm going to switch my screen over. I think one of the coolest things that's on sale right now is the Raspberry Pi 7-inch touchscreen. It's the official touchscreen from Raspberry Pi, so it's not just a random off-brand. Not that there's anything wrong with off-brand screens, but it's. I think it's exciting sometimes to find a good deal on name brand hardware, and this usually goes for around $100, but right now it's marked down to $73. So if you want to add a touchscreen display to your Pi, this kit, I call it a kit, it comes with a few accessories. This kit's definitely one you want to take a look at. There was another one that I wanted to share with you guys that I think we have a review of, this Elecro Raspberry Pi 4 kit. Do we have a review on this Crow Pi 2?
Yes, we do.
Good. Go to Tom's Hardware and check it out and see what makes it good. It's, I think right now, it's $17 off of $326. So that's worth taking a look at. It's about $308. That is from Sunfounder. No, not Sunfounder, from Elecro. And I had a Sunfounder kit that I wanted to share because it's got tons of little pieces. You get 10% off, which takes it down to about $62, but you get tons of little gadgets and a Raspberry Pi Pico W And I don't think Pico Ws are as hard to get a hold of right now as Pi 4s, but I like that it comes with the new Pico W, not just a Pico. And you get all kinds of things to play with. You've got this little, I see a motion sensor, a servo, this LCD screen, a remote control, apparently. That's kind of cool. And then a button pad, all kinds of neat stuff. That looks like an analog joystick. So that's one to take a look at. Those are the three, I think, coolest things that I found that were still discounted. And of course, we have more deals shared over at Tom's Hardware of Raspberry Pi stuff you can find, but those are definitely three worth looking at. Are you guys
So I wanted to say that another place you can still get a deal right now, and this is especially good for folks in the UK and Europe because this brand is located in the UK, is Pimoroni. Pimoroni still has some really fantastic sales going on right now. Right now, I think through the 30th, it is. Yes, Kraken deals ends November 30th. So there's some fantastic deals there on like almost everything on the site, from kits that work with your Pico to things like the Kibo keyboard to the Tufty. I guess the one I would get would be the Tufty 2040 badge, which is really cool that we've shown on this show, that allows you to wear like an LCD badge. So there's a lot of great stuff that you can still get in the next day or so. Obviously,
I'm glad you pointed that out. I didn't need to know that, but thank you.
So anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching and listening, and of course Ricardo for joining us. We will be back with less next week, next Tuesday at 7 p.m. UTC or UK time, and 2 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye.